Hey, welcome back to Life Without Limits. I'm your host, the motivational teacher, George Tab. You know, today we're talking about you're with George Tab with Life Without Limits, and I'm a motivational teacher. And all this stuff about goals, about resolutions, here's how I learned it. I learned it because someone gave me some information. I learned it by doing it wrong for years and not getting nowhere. You know, it's kind of like being stuck. You feel stuck sometimes. You kind of feel like you're going somewhere, you're moving, but you're not getting to where you want to go. You know, sometimes we can do the right things, but you got to do the right things for the right reasons. You got to know why. See, today, my goal is to sell you on why you need to have goals, why you need to put resolutions aside. And one of the things, it's all about doing the right things for the right reasons. And so goal setting is a process. It's a journey. You know, today we're talking about no more resolutions and just being sick and tired of resolutions like a car stuck in mud flying everywhere, but the car is going nowhere. Tires are spinning. They're spinning fast. You look like you're moving, but you're not moving. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever set some resolutions on January 1st and then on the 31st, you're in the same place? And you found yourself on the 1st setting the same resolutions. To lose weight, to get a new job, to go to church, to find a church, to start a business, to make more money, to get promoted. I mean, does this stuff sound familiar? Ladies and gentlemen, you need a goal to architect your future, to design your future. You know, your life is your gift that God has given you, but your gift back to God is the person that you become. Now, here's an example. Here's a story about two men. Two men are seated in a plane. The first was given a parachute and told to put it on because it would improve his flight. Now, he was a little skeptical at first because he can't see why wearing a parachute in a plane could possibly improve the flight. But after a time, he decided to experiment to see if the claims was true. As he put it on, he noticed it was heavy, it was awkward. It was weighty on his back, and it was tight around his shoulders. And he found that it was difficult, and he was sitting uncomfortably. However, he consoled himself with the fact that he was told that wearing a parachute would improve the flight. He decided to give the parachute a chance. But then what happened was this. As he looked around and noticed that some of the other passengers was laughing at him because he was wearing a parachute inside the plane, he began to feel somewhat humiliated. And as they began to giggle at him and turn around and stared at him, he couldn't stand it any longer. He sunk in his seat. He unstrapped the parachute and squashed it into an overhead compartment. Disillusioned and cynical filled his heart because as far as he was concerned, he was told an outright lie. The second man, also given a parachute, but listen to what he was told. Put it on immediately, because in any moment, once we get up to about 25,000 feet, you have to jump out of this plane. And he gracefully put on his parachute. He doesn't notice the weight that's on his shoulders, the uncomfortableness. Nor does he notice the people laughing at him. Now, he too sits uncomfortably, but you know what? His mind is occupied with the thought of what would happen to him if he didn't have a parachute. When it came time to deplane, when it came time to jump at 25,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, two men, both wearing a parachute, but one of them understood why he was wearing a parachute. No more resolutions, setting goals. You know, when I had a job selling Yellow Pages, we had a minimum quota every week of about $3,000 in sales. But my goal for myself was to sell $20,000 in sales. You said, George, wow, that's a lot. But here's how that played out. Most weeks I fell short of my weekly goal. But it took fell short of my goal, but you know what? But it exceeded the company's goal that they had for me, that it had for my position. So I would sell an average of $12,000 to $16,000 a week in sales. If I could set my own personal goal by the company minimum standard, it would cause grief in my life, because when I fell short of the company minimum performance for me, guess what? They're going to call me into the office. They're going to say, George, hey, you know what? Brother, you got to step it up. But you know what? I set my growth, ladies and gentlemen. I grow by my own goals. See, ladies and gentlemen, either you discipline yourself or life will discipline you. Either way, I found out I had goals. Either way, you are disciplined. A lot of people say, George, I'm not disciplined enough to have goals. Yes, you are. You're just used to being disciplined by someone else. No more resolutions. No more resolutions, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm excited for you that you've tuned in on this show. Tell somebody else about this show. Have them listen in next week. Life without limits. You know, God didn't set limitations on your life. You set them. In this show, we want to help you unleash the you that God has placed on the inside of you. So if you've enjoyed this message by George today, we'd love to come and do something for you, for your church, for your business. Book George to be a part of your movement to educate others on how to live life without limits. For additional information on how to book George, call 919-539-9895. You know this program takes place because of your support. For evil to prevail, just let good people be spectators.